The first step of creating our donut still life is sketching out our composition. Composition means how you lay out the items in your artwork. So we're going to use a circle template, and we're going to trace our template to get our donuts laid out on our paper. We're not using this so that our circles turn out perfect, because we actually don't even really want perfect circles. We're just using it actually so that our donuts are all pretty much the same size. So I'm just tracing around, not really making sure it's perfect, kind of like a little bit of a lumpy donut. And then I'm adding my own circle in the center. Once again, not perfect, that's okay. Now you can do your donut composition however you like, but make sure none of your donuts are overlapping. You want a little space in between each one, and also make sure that you have an open composition. An open composition means some of your donuts are going off the page, like this. Now to add icing to each donut, all you have to do once you have your big circle drawn and your small circle drawn is add a wavy line around the edge of your big circle. And it can sort of go off the circle a little bit, kind of wiggles back and forth, and then do the same thing around your small circle. So we're not making a bunch of waves, just kind of like some large waves that look like gooey, drippy icing. I'm gonna keep going until I'm happy with my composition. Now that I have my composition sketched out, I'm going to be following the same steps for coloring each donut with oil pastels. To make our donuts look realistic, we're going to start by adding a shiny white highlight on top of our icing. So I'm just going to take a white oil pastel, and I'm going to just kind of make a few little dashed lines of white, but I'm making sure that they're going in like a circular pattern, a circular way. So 4, 5, or 6 little scribbles of white, just like so. Next, I'm going to choose my tint color and my shade color. I've decided that this one is going to have blue icing, so I'm going to start with the lighter color of blue, the tint of blue, and I'm just going to color this all in. So when you do this part, make sure that you color around your white highlights. Otherwise, they won't appear to be white anymore. They'll be blended in with the blue. So we want to keep the white and the blue separate, and we're trying to stay inside the lines. When your icing's all colored in, choose a nice donut color, whatever that might be, depending on your flavor. And we're gonna color in all of the donut that is showing underneath the icing. When you color with oil pastel, make sure that you're really pushing pretty hard so that the colors come in nice and thick and bright. That's what we're going for with this project. Next step is to add the shadow on the icing. We're going to use our darker shade color that we chose for the icing, and I'm going to color a little sort of stripe of this color around the outside edge of my frosting and around the inside edge. Be really careful, since you are coloring close to the edge for this step, you really want to make sure that you stay inside the lines. Now this looks okay, but what really makes this appear realistic is when you blend your shadow color and your tint color together. So after I've outlined, I'm going to take it, and instead of pushing hard, I'm sort of going to push a little bit lightly and kind of blend it into the blue, the lighter blue, so that you can't really tell where one color stops and one color starts. This is the secret of making our icing look realistic. If you're having a little bit of difficulty getting it to work with your shade color, what I often do is take my tint color again and go over it to blend it even further. So you can kind of mix the two colors back and forth a little bit to get your best results. So I'm going to do it around this edge and around the inside edge. All right, so this is starting to look pretty good. Another thing I do to be extra fancy sometimes is take a darker donut color, a donut shade color, and add a little shadow under my icing. So it'll kind of really look like the icing is sitting on top of that tan colored donut. Now the last step to kind of finish off our shadows and our highlights is we're gonna go back to our white that we used at the very beginning, and we're gonna blend this highlight circle a little bit more. So I'm just gonna kind of follow the circle shape that I made with my dashed line, and I'm just gonna go around it a few times. Just like so. So I'm sort of blending that white into the blue again. So I'm sort of getting a little bit of a light blue mixed in with the white a little bit. So it really sort of starts to look like that shiny highlight right on the top. When you are done with your highlights and your shadows, we're ready to move on to the next step of adding our shadow underneath the donut, which we'll do next time.